Check it out. I'm going to get out of here now. I'm going to finish this off whilst we watch Mark's talk. So, if you like this stream, everyone, give it a thumbs up.
Oh. Well, g'day and welcome everyone to the shed. My name's Mark, I'm your host, and this is what's going on in the shed. Another Thursday night live here, and we're going to be catching up on what we did during the week. Not so much here in the shed. We're going to do a little live thing behind me over on the bench cam. We're going to talk about an event I went to on Sunday at the Brisbane Tramway Museum, which was a bit of a fun event. And we've got a few things happening going on behind the scenes here, which I can't talk about. I'm under an NDA, and hopefully we'll be talking about more about that in the next couple of weeks. A bit of a product reveal, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, we're going to jump over to the bench and I'll explain what's going on over there. Righto, so we are over at the bench. You won't see me much. I've got my old shirt on. This is the one my wife did when she first started doing sublimation. It's pretty old, the shirt, starting to get a bit holy. But on the bench tonight, we've got a whistle. Now, the reason we've got a whistle is there's a Facebook group I belong to called Heritage Steam Restorers Australia. And it's about people like myself and others who are restoring steam equipment, big, small, otherwise, and it's there to help each other out. And a gentleman put a post on a while ago about a whistle he's got very similar to this in the shape and size, and that it's been broken off here, it's not complete, and he's hoping I can help him out with a few things, which we've been talking backwards and forwards on Messenger, and I thought, well, I'll have a go at this tonight on the live stream to see if we can sort a few things out for him. With this whistle, it's fairly long. It's not a chime whistle. It's just a single note, fairly deep note. This was given to me by some people at work, which I'm very thankful for. It would have come off a factory, or the story I was told, it came off a factory down in South Brisbane. Of course, a lot of places used to work by the whistle, and this would be the whistle that was on top of the factory or building or whatever. And it's just one of those things. So luckily enough that we got it. It's been passed on to me to hopefully it does work. I've had it working, but we can see if we can just pull this apart so this gentleman can see what's going on inside. And g'day AJ, g'day Kerry, my sister, mum and dad are watching on the big TV. Shout out to everyone in the chat, Funk and Hungry, Robbo, Emma, who else we got in there? We've probably got a few others I haven't seen, so welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Righto, so we'll get on to this. It's quite what's happened over the years, and this happens to a lot of these pipe fittings. I'll get a up-close shot here without running into things. Right here where my finger is a hexagonal part of the casting, but because people don't get the right spanner or they use something else, and usually a pair of Stilsons or something like that. Stilsons are a bigger version of a pair of vice grips or multi-grips or something. This here gets all burred up, and the original size is nowhere near. This one's been fairly bashed, and it's also got it should be able to seal on the bottom here, that you can't do that. This is another valve that I've had sitting around. I'm just using that to help me locate it in the vise here, so it's just easier to grip onto. It does, where my little finger is there is a dent in there. There's this piece here, the top part is threaded, the bottom bit is threaded, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of heat around here to try and see if that's going to release it all. I can't. It does release at the moment, but I think I might need a second pair of hands. Like if I put a shifter on to it here, let's see if we can get a bit of a grip on it. It's not too bad. As long as I can hold onto it here and maybe try and turn it here like this, that's not going with my strength. So that's why I was going to give it a bit of heat, see if there's maybe there's a bit of Loctite, or just over the years the calcium has built up. Yeah, no worries, Kelly. You go do your thing and earn yourself a few dollars. So I've got the oxy here. We're going to light her up. It'll just be a gentle flame to. There we go. There we go. Oh, flame on. Turn that right down. Get that back into the tip so I can get there we go. Very, very small flame there. And I'll just wave that around the base there where the thread is. Now, we will get a bit of heat transfer going on here, and it's quite possible we'll expand both the things at the same time, which that happens because of the difference in thickness. But if there's any sort of sealant there in any way, hopefully the oxy will burn it out. Hey Dan, how are you? Thanks for being here, mate. Dan's one of the guys at work. He's our boilermaker. Does a great job, very knowledgeable guy. Happy to help you out. And he's a bit of a master at making some art too when he's jumping between jobs. Righto. It looks like there is some sort of sealant in there. Hopefully that's getting it out of there and warming it up. I might just give that a try and see if I can unscrew that. I'll leave the oxy going. I'll just set it up like so. It's not the most still nothing going there. I really don't want to put anything on there to try and get it, because it's only thin tube, so it's probably going to squash it, if anything. So I'll just get some more heat in there. Yeah, well, Dan's working on sorting out a few disasters right now. That's how we roll. And I don't know whether Dan's offside is in the chat or not, but he might be. Now, you probably don't see this, but I'm getting a little bit of a green flame now. That's a bit of a reaction from the brass. We're starting to get a bit of heat into that. Fair bit of heat into there. I don't want to go too much. And in fact, what I might do, right, I'll turn that off so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I'll put the shifter in there and see if I can yeah, no, that's not gonna. I'm actually bending the tube. Right, okay, wire brush, right. We have several wire brushes just up on the tool board there, and we'll get this stuff away and see if we can see what's going on in here. This might be one of those jobs where I might have to soak it in something. Yes, Clinton. Very similar. A lot of these whistles are very much the same in terms of dimensions and size and that sort of thing. They're very, very standard, mass produced back in the day. Right. How about we get some WD-40 and soak in there? I could probably soak a bit of oil in there too, but WD might being a lot thinner, or inox or whatever I've got here. I might try the inox. Might be a bit, yeah. Right, so because it's so hot, you'll see a bit of vapour coming off, a bit of smoke. And we'll spray some down in there as well to help the cause. So with these, sometimes it's a bit of a suck it and see, or give this a go and have a go at this. Right, bit of a drink. Oh, that's nice. Righto, that's the magic sauce, that is. It's pretty warm up here. Oh, a bit of rag. Here we go, magic bit of rag, an old work shirt. Anybody seen one of those? And we'll give this a bit of a wipe over. Yeah, that's pretty warm. I didn't see anything bubbling out of it, like if it was, often these sometimes may have been sealed with a bit of solder or something like that, bit of soft solder, but I didn't see anything like that come out of it. There was a bit of stuff that came out of it, and you would think that something like this would screw together, but like I said, over the years, there's probably calcium build-up and other stuff. I don't think so. No, Dan. I think you got the. I think you got the wrong lyrics there, mate. I haven't heard of that one. You might have to show me. Right. The other thing is too, I could try and fit the big spanner there to see if that's gonna. This is where I need a third set of hands. I need an offsider. And, right. Now there is, I'll tell you what, I'll grab the battery drill because there is a bit of a dimple there, and that may have a little bit of solder in it. Maybe just to hold it in place. Maybe. Let's put a bit more heat onto it. When in doubt, heat her up. The old torch is the... If we can't fix this in the next few minutes, we've got a spider web here. I'll jump back on the computer and be a talking head and show you what I got up to at the Tramway Museum. So we're just putting the heat back onto this dimple, and I can't see anything. If there was solder in there, that'd be running out by now. Go a bit harder with this and get it a bit more hotter. Maybe I just really need to burn the crap out of there for it to let go. and the thinner piece will heat up a lot quicker. Of course, you don't want to get it too hot. It's getting pretty hot now. You can start to see changing colours. Like I said, can't see anything running out of it. That dimple, I don't know what that dimple is. Doesn't look like solder or anything like that. So if I can get this yeah, nothing's moving there. I'll get the drill and see if put a small drill in there and see if it's got solder in it or anything like that. I don't think so. Oh, sorry for the loud noises, folks. Righto. Grab the old Milwaukee drill and we'll grab a small drill and just give that a bit of a doesn't seem to be. Right. No. It's definitely a dint of some sort. Somebody's dinted that for whatever reason. There's no soft solder in there or anything like that. And with the amount of heat I've put on there, you think that would let go. So the tube itself is supposed to be separate from the actual valve body. So in theory, you could put another tube on here, different size to give you different pitch, different frequency, different tone, or even you could make up one that is a chime whistle. So essentially 3 chambers in one. It'd look a bit funny, but you can make it work, that's for sure. I'll just, righto, let's let that soak in. Throw a bit of the old inox in. And we might let that cool down and see what happens, come back to it. Put a couple of tools back up. I like to keep the place nice and tidy. Or try to anyway. I'm the only bloke here, so if I make a mess, it's all my fault. It could be a siren, Clinton. Could be. Righto, so we're going to leave the whistle there for a little bit, and we are going to come back over here to, right, let's get back there, live. And we're going to go over to the talking head, and that's me. And we'll talk about the Brisbane Tramway Museum. That's the event I went to. Where are we going here? Right. Nope. Let's get it right. And I'm supposed to have this all prepared. Let's go with that one. Righto, there we go. So this is one of the sheds at the Brisbane Tramway Museum where they store the trams, or commonly known as a car barn. And they usually on a Sunday, I think it's a Sunday afternoon, they bring the trams out and take people for a ride. And these are trams that used to run around Brisbane City and various suburbs back in the day. However, the trams came to an end. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on that. This event was, there was a big fire at one of the tram depots, and this is to sort of celebrate that event that happened back in however long ago it was. Let me do a quick search, and because Dr. Google's got everything, I'll go. Right, the Paddington Tram Fire Depot, that was in 28th of September 1962, hence why the Tramway Museum was having their event, and part of the event was to get groups of people together to pull a tram. They do have a tram, a horse-drawn tram, that weighs about 1 tonne, that used to work in the Brisbane area to take... thanks Clinton. To take people around the different areas of Brisbane. Righto, let's bring up another. So here's it should be this one. So this is a video of one of the trams, tram number 65, and this is a toast rack tram. Only has 4 wheels or 2 axles, and this is part of the area where they take people up the top or down the bottom. They have an area of about 400 metres. And they're just getting themselves organised. You can see it's a little bit jerky coming off the hard drive there, but essentially away they go and go down the hill, down the bottom, and then they turn around and come back up again. That's just one of the trams they have. It's very similar to the steamroller. It's 100 years old or thereabouts, or probably older. But if you've never been there and you want to spend an afternoon, it's a good place to look around. Let's stop that one. And this is another one of their trams here. As you can see, they don't have very much track. I didn't add enough photos, but I'll add in some photos here to show you the various things that are on display. That's a big steam hammer. Obviously, it's not used anymore, but it would have been used by the tramway. The tramways of Brisbane to make various parts and things like that. Big machine. I'd love to see it running, but unfortunately, it's just static display. This is another one of those things that it's a bloody big bit of gear, and it probably only ever did one job. Looks like it was used for straightening rails or bending rails or something like that, with the big screws there, the anvils. So it's just interesting to see stuff like this still around and hasn't gone to scrap. Okay, my mum just sent me a message to say that at the time my father was in the transport game, and his company that he worked for at the time transported a lot of the trams and that to Ferny Grove when they were obsolete, or when they were saved by the Tramway Museum. So here's another view of this great big thing, and there's certainly a big bit of kit, that's for sure. Right, going through the photos here. Now this interesting bit of gear here is, let's get rid of some photos. No, wrong one. Oh, no, it's taking me out. I'll get this right one day. No, I want that one. No, I want that one. Anyway, this here is a Scammell truck. Nope, keep getting that wrong. Don't worry about me. I'm a professional. The Scammell truck here was used to recover broken down trams, and these things were slower than a wet week, but they could climb the proverbial brick shithouse, towing a big load, broken down tram, and they used to tow trolley buses when we had trolley buses, and it did tow some buses in the early days. Here's another view here of the Scammell, the back end of it. It's chained, pretty unique bit of gear. It's got a Gardner 5-cylinder diesel engine in it, very low revving. Yes, that's correct, Kerry, Aiken Transport. The Scammell is set up with all sorts of gear to recover the various broken down vehicles, and a winch cable that could rain from the underneath the body there is a big winch drum where the winch cable could come out, and I think it also could winch forward as well as from behind. So the vehicle is quite capable of doing just about any recovery job, pretty much. Obviously modern day trucks have superseded things like this. Now I'm going to try and get there we go. That's right. Right, there we go. Let's get rid of some of those photos, and we'll add in a couple more as we keep talking along here. And let's get a different view here. No, sorry, I was wrong. So there you go. There's the Gardner diesel engine. I thought it was a 5-cylinder. It's actually got a 6. Very low revving engine, these Gardner diesels, that's for sure. But run forever. Just sorry, folks. Run forever, and just a real sloggers. Moving on. Right, let's just jump through. Here's a couple of the smaller trams. 65, which you saw before, taking people for a ride, and yes, that's how far you had to step up. And the various classes of the trams that Brisbane City had at the time were, I'm not a tram expert, but was the open toast rack type. That other smaller one, number 99, is what they call a mini dreadnought, just a smaller version of the longer dreadnought tram. And they all served their purpose, for transporting people around Brisbane City at the time. And as the day went on, or the evening went on, you can see that the power is supplied by the pole overhead, not only to power the lights but the traction motors as well. And this event went till 7 o'clock at night, and it was quite a good event. This track here that you see in front of us, that's where we had to pull the tram up with the people, and unfortunately I don't have any photos. I was in the contest, but I haven't received any photos of us being in the actual contest. But it was a bit of fun. You had to pull it a short way, and you don't sort of you could see who could do it the fastest, which team could do it the fastest. And there's number 65 again at night. And the iPhone 14 that I use was struggling a little bit in the lower light conditions. However, still did pretty well. You got a good representation. You can see a bit of blurring on the modem in there. That's in Tram technology or Tram things. They didn't call him a driver. They called them a motorman because he drove the motor. Let's get rid of a couple here. Righto. Let's turn a few more off. No, don't want to turn that off. All right, there's still a few more on which I can't get. There we go. And that's look. They, like a lot of museums, they have a lot of stuff, and they have a volunteer base. There we go. They're in the process of changing over trams here. Basically, they're all the same. Slight difference in make and variation. They all pretty well did the same sort of thing in terms of getting people around the city or to and from. They were quite popular, and unfortunately, the government at the time or the city council at the time weren't interested in having the trams anymore, and they certainly made their way of getting rid of them and introducing buses, things that ran on rubber tyres and consumed oil and diesel and all that sort of stuff. I still think trams could have played an important role in the development of Brisbane City as it has, and some of you may know that we have trams on the Gold Coast, modern day trams, still laid to the same gauge, very principles all the same, bit modern, and they're proving to be very popular. So they certainly do have a place in their in a city, and a lot of cities around the world do have trams, especially Melbourne. Melbourne's got the biggest tram network here in Australia. Adelaide still has trams, and Sydney did have a great big tram network, but slowly but surely they got rid of it, and trams have returned to Sydney, but only in a very small capacity. So the event itself was very nice. Weather was perfect and all that sort of stuff. They had food stalls there, which was really good. It's like a lot of museums. You go there once and you could go back there in a couple of years' time and not much has changed. Maybe some faces or something like that. But all these museums, even the one I'm involved with, are volunteer-based. And there we go. And, it takes a lot of work to keep these things going. And when you do things as a volunteer, you're limited to how and when you do your time. Yes, it does, Robbo. You got a good point there, mate. I did visit the Sydney Tramway Museum many years ago, and they do have a few examples from Brisbane, plus other trams from around the world. And if you're ever in Sydney, go have a look. Robbo, who's in the chat here, he runs his own channel. He is a volunteer at a place called Thirlmere in New South Wales. It's a railway museum, come display, come so on, and they have a really good event there. The Transport Heritage New South Wales is putting on a Heritage Expo in Sydney Central, where they have not only steam trains but various vintage trains from the New South Wales State Government Railways, and ferries, vintage ferries and buses as well. It's a good weekend. If anyone's in Sydney at this time of the weekend, it's be a good event to go to because there's plenty to see and do. A little bit envious of you, Robbo, down there with that event. It's a pretty good thing. So we're going to go back over to the bench and see if we can have another look at this whistle while I have a drink before it gets too hot here. having a nice cold chocolate drink. This has cooled down somewhat, and we'll get the spanner on it again and we'll have another go at this. But I don't think we're going to have much luck. So I'll brace myself there, and no, that's not going to go. I can't really get a good grip on that. And like I said, if I put something on here where my finger is, I could quite possibly, actually what I can do is, thinking outside the square, right, this here is a filter strap. Now, I'll give that a wipe down, and I might get some acetone and give that a good clean up to get any residual oil off there. Actually, some wax and grease remover will do the job, which I'll show you on camera in a second. This is a brand here we get in Australia called Diggers. It's a wax and grease remover. It's a solvent based, obviously, and it's a good way. It's also probably known as Prepsol. Just removes any wax and grease, especially if you're priming something for painting. Now, I've got me half-inch breaker bar here without dropping sockets on the ground. It's only a fairly short one, and we'll see if that'll do the trick. Righto. Just getting myself set back up here. And just so I can have the chat. You guys are doing well. It's good to have everyone in here. So that will wrap around like so, and it'll pull against itself, and I'll get the breaker bar on there, and that way I can put pressure on the breaker bar and the valve to see if I can. Right, I'll reposition the strap so I can get a good purchase on it while using it to, oh my God. Oh, I'm putting a lot of pressure on that and that's not moving. Let's see if I can reposition that. No, that's not moving. That is a lot of pressure on there, and that's not showing any signs of budging. Now, that's a bit of a pain, actually. There is another product on the market, Loctite have it, and it's called Freeze It. I could spray that in there and try and do it that way if the heat's not going to go. You would think that the filter strap would do it. Mum says, ask Google. That's what everyone's doing. Yeah. What I'm trying to avoid, obviously, is doing any damage to the actual thing here. Unless, okay, I'll go a bigger breaker bar. Now, if I go a bigger breaker bar, we're going to be talking. Actually, no, I'll go this one. I'll go this one, and I'll see if I got a bit of pipe. No, do I have a bit of pipe? Okay, if I got a right, if I'm going a bigger breaker bar, I go the big one, and that's probably going to be too big. And then I'm just fighting against myself, which is probably not a good idea. Sooner or later, something's got to give to get this to go. And I wouldn't imagine it's a left-hand thread. It should be a right-hand thread, so lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Maybe I should try tightening it up. And just see what happens. Because sometimes tightening it up can actually have a similar sort of result. Now that's actually slipping, but still tightening up. So we'll go back around the way we were, try and get this thing to move again. Well, there's all these little challenges in life. Okay, so that strap is actually moving. It's slipping, even though I've cleaned. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Sorry about that. Even though I've cleaned around there with the wax and grease remover, the strap is actually slipping on there. It's not actually gripping like it was before. And I've heated this thing up several times, and that doesn't seem to have worked. And I really don't want to drill into it. I want to try and get this off without, doing any damage. I've said that before. But in saying that, maybe putting it in the freezer might help. might sound silly, but yeah, Peter, you're probably right there. I did say that there was a lot of calcium buildup on the top of the whistle here, on top of the plate, the reed plate, and when I was heating it up before, I did get a lot of it out. And of course, I've got that same problem in the boiler of the roller. There's a lot of calcium buildup in there. A lot of it's been taken away. I'm just stepping over to the linisher. And I can't even get a light down there to see what's going inside because of that reed plate and the valve there. So you can't actually see in there. Like there doesn't seem to be any yeah, Kerry, lefty loosey, righty tighty. But this, we're struggling here in terms of, yeah, there's probably more calcium buildup than what I realise in here, Peter. So let's get the torch and have a look down inside. Trusty, these things are great. If you can get hold of one, get yourself one. fantastic bit of gear. So all we're going to see down there when we look inside is the valve. We can't actually, unless we take the valve out, we might take the valve out. When in doubt, take the valve out. And I think I've give this a bit of a tap here. To shock it. And I'll do the same with that. I'll just go around there like that and give it a tap. And tap it to shock it. In the vise. Back on there. Tighten up there, and the problem is that once again these have been stuck in there for ages. Let's get the brass hammer. And these things, sometimes they just don't want to play ball. Might be an off-camera maybe something's moving. Hooray! Right, this is going to get the valve out. And that'll help us look inside and see what's going on. So that's the nut. There we go. That's come off nicely. Put that over there. It's the right, the valve and the spring that has seen better days. The spring's okay. The valve stem, that thing there, it's a little bit bent. And also the hole where the valve goes through is a bit flogged out as well. So more than likely we'll have to rebush that at some stage, which wouldn't take much. But with that out now, we can try and look up inside, which I don't think is going to reveal anything. Riveting. Yeah, well, I got inox right here, Pete. Inox, Lanox right there. I think I might be coating this and just with the way these are set up, you can't see inside. No. So pretty much I'm just going to sit that on there and we'll leave it be. We'll let it sit overnight and I'll have another crack at this tomorrow at some stage or over the weekend. Might make a video out of that. I haven't put out much content lately. And there's sort of good reason for that. Sometimes you you just come to a bit of a brick wall and various factors going on. Righto. So we'll get that soaking in there. I'll let that sit and see what happens. See if we can have a win. Well, they can be a pain, Clinton. I don't know how old this is. I don't know how many people have had a go at it, who haven't had a go at it, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's not really the whistle's fault being an inanimate object. It's the fact that not everything is always easy to undo. However, we will persevere. Right, I'm just putting some tools back and talking to you guys at the same time. We will persevere and get stuff done. Right, so let's go back over here. Right, we're going to let that sit on the bench overnight. Let's see what we can do with that. I'll just finish off me chalky drink here. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Righto. I'll get the talking head. No, we'll go back to the standard live stream main camera. That's me back on here. And well, 11 of you still watching. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. I really appreciate the support that you guys give me. So we'll certainly have a look at that in the coming days to try and resolve the issue and try and get that unscrewed. So the gentleman that who's reached out to me for help can try and resolve it. And I think that'll do it for tonight. I've been carrying on long enough, and I got another early start in the morning. So it's a long weekend for us here in my part of the world, which looking forward to. So hopefully we'll get some work done on the steamroller. Looks like we're going to have some beautiful weather. It's starting to get a bit dry around here, so they've brought in the fire ban and that sort of thing. So that that might cause a bit of problem. What year was that, Mum? That's a long time ago. My mum just sent me a photo, which of my brother when he was a baby sitting on that tram we just showed you. So the Tramway Museum is a good place to go and have a look at. If you've never been, take a couple of hours of your afternoon and go and have a look when they're open. Have a look there on. You'll probably find videos on YouTube of Brisbane Tramway Museum. They've also got a Facebook social media establishment if you look them, and obviously you can search them on Google to find out further information. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for being in here tonight, and look forward to seeing you next Thursday on the next live stream with something else going on here inside the shed. So have a good one, everyone. Take it easy. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Whistle.